Mr. Mellum, sure. President Obama, these things are interrelated. Mr. Mellum, sure. President Obama, and what I've said, and I think Hillary Clinton has expressed this in her confirmation, is that if we are looking at the region as a whole and communicating a message to the Arab world and the Muslim world, that we are ready to initiate a new partnership. Based on mutual respect and mutual interest, then I think that we can make significant progress. Now, Israel is a strong ally of the United States. They will not stop being a strong ally of the United States. And I will continue to believe that Israel's security is paramount. But I also believe that there are Israelis who recognize that it is important to achieve peace. They will be willing to make sacrifices if the time is. Appropriate, and if there is serious partnership on the other side. And so what we want to do is to listen, set aside some of the preconceptions. That have existed and have built up over the last several years. And I think if we do that, then there's a possibility at least of achieving some breakthroughs. Mr. Mellum, now I want to ask you about the broader Muslim world. But let me one final thing about the Palestinian-Israeli theater. There are many Palestinians and Israelis who are very frustrated now with the current conditions, and they are losing hope, they are disillusioned. and they believe that time is running out on the two-state solution mainly because of the settlement. Activities in Palestinian-occupied territories. Will it still be possible to see a Palestinian state and the contours of it within the first Obama administration? President Obama, I think it is possible for us to see a Palestinian state. I'm not going to put a time frame on it that is contiguous. That allows freedom of movement for its people, that allows for trade with other countries. That allows the creation of businesses and commerce so that people have a better life. And, look, I think anybody who has studied the region recognizes that. The situation for the ordinary Palestinian in many cases has not improved. And the bottom line in all these talks and all these conversations is, is a child in the Palestinian territories going to be better off? Do they have a future for themselves? And, is the child in Israel going to feel confident about his or her safety and security? And if we can keep our focus on making their lives better and look forward. And not simply think about all the conflicts and tragedies of the past, then I think that we have an opportunity to make real progress. But it is not going to be easy, and that's why we've got George Mitchell going there. This is somebody with extraordinary patience as well as extraordinary skill. And that's what's going to be necessary. Mr. Melem, let me take a broader look at the whole region. You are planning to address the Muslim world in your first 100 days from a Muslim capital. and everybody is speculating about the capital. If you have anything further, that would be great. How concerned are you? Because, let me tell you, honestly, when I see certain things about America in some parts, I don't want to exaggerate, there is a demonization of America. President Obama, absolutely. Mr. Mellum, it's become like a new religion, and like a new religion it has new converts. Like a new religion has its own high priests. President Obama, right. Mr. Mellum, its own, even, religious texts. President Obama, right. Mr. Mellum, and, in the last since 9/11 and because of Iraq, that alienation, you know, is. Is wider between the Americans. And, in generations past, the United States was held high. It was the only Western power with no colonial legacy. President Obama, right. Mr. Mellum, how concerned are you? And, because people sense that you have a different political discourse. And, I think, judging by Inaudible and Zawahiri and Osama bin Laden and all these, that President Obama, yeah, I noticed. Mr. Mellum, a chorus. President Obama, they seem nervous. Mr. Mellum, they seem very nervous, exactly. And, now, tell me why they should be more nervous. President Obama, well. I think that when you look at the rhetoric that they've been using against me before I even took office. Mr. Mellum, I know, I know. President Obama, what that tells me is that their ideas are bankrupt. Mr. Mellum, absolutely. President Obama. There's no actions that they've taken that say a child in the Muslim world is. Getting a better education because of them, or has better health care because of them. In my inauguration speech, I've spoken about, you will be judged on what you built, not what you destroy. And what they've been doing is destroying things. And over time, I think the Muslim world has recognized that that path is leading no place. Except more death and destruction. Now, my job is to communicate the fact that the United States has a stake in the well-being of the Muslim world, that the language we use has to be language of respect. You know, I have Muslim members of my family. Mr. Mellum, true. President Obama, I have lived in Muslim countries. Mr. Melum, the largest one. President Obama, the largest one, Indonesia. And so what I want to communicate is the fact that in all my travels throughout the Muslim world, what I've come to understand is that regardless of your faith, and America is a country of Muslims, Jews, Christians, non-believers, regardless of your faith, people all have certain common hopes and common dreams. And my job is to communicate to the American people. Mr. Melum, true. President Obama, that the Muslim world is filled with extraordinary people. Who simply want to live their lives and see their children live better lives? My job to the Muslim world is to communicate that the Americans are not your enemy. We, sometimes make mistakes. We have not been perfect. But if you look at the track record, as you say, America was not born as a colonial power. And that the same respect and partnership that America had with the Muslim world as recently as 20 or 30 years ago. Mr. Melum, true. President Obama, there's no reason why we can't restore that. And that I think is going to be an important task. But ultimately, people are going to judge me not by my words but by my actions and my administration's actions. And I think that what you will see over the next several years is that I'm not going to agree with everything that some Muslim leader may say. Or what's on a television station in the Arab world. But I think that what you'll see is somebody who is listening, who is respectful, and who is trying to promote the interests not just of the United States, but also ordinary people who right now are suffering from poverty and a lack of opportunity. I want to make sure that I'm speaking to them, as well. Mr. Melam, and any decision on from where you will be addressing the Muslim world or is too early. President Obama, well, you know, I'm not going to break the news right here. Mr. Melam, maybe next time? President Obama, but maybe next time. But it is something that's going to be important. Mr. Melam, true. President Obama, I want people to recognize, though, that we are going to be making a series of initiatives. Sending George Mitchell. Mr. Melam, right. True. President Obama, to the Middle East is fulfilling my campaign promise that we're not going. To wait until the end of my administration to deal with Palestinian and Israeli peace. We're going to start now. It may take a long time to do. Mr. Melam, sure.